Hi everybody, it's Miss Lorenz. I'm going to talk through the last lesson in Unit 3, finding the percentage. Like before, I'm using some different strategies, but mostly I'm relying now on multiplication. So if some part of this doesn't make sense, make sure you pause, go through it, and then ask questions if you need it. All right, in the first one, a school held a jump roping contest. Diego jumped for 20 minutes. Jada jumped for 15 minutes. What percentage of Diego's time is that? Well, Jada jumped 15/20ths. If Diego's what we're comparing to, then that's kind of like our whole. And so we're going to see how much of that whole did Jada jump. So 15/20ths is what she jumped, which is 3/4 or 75%. Lynn jumped for 24 minutes. So she jumped 24 minutes, and our whole is still 20 minutes. It's still that 20 minutes from Diego. So you can see that she jumped more than he did, so it's going to be greater than 100%. 24/20ths is 1 4/20ths, which is 1 1/5, which is 120%. Then Noah jumped for 9 minutes. And so Noah jumped 9/20ths. Again, we're using Diego's as our whole. So Noah jumped 9 out of those 20 minutes, which is the same as 45/100ths. So here's what I did, you guys, to turn this into a percentage. I did not use a calculator and divide here. I just knew that 20 times 5 is 100. So then I took 9 times 5 to get 45. And 45/100ths is 45%. All right, then I filled out this table, which is all of these answers from number 1. And we're asked to just explain the similarities in the last 2 columns. Well, they're equal. The last 2 columns are equal. The percentage written as a percentage is equal to the percentage when written as a fraction or a decimal. So in other words, 75/100ths, when it's written as a decimal like this, 0.75, that's equal to 75%. Just a different way of looking at 75%. That's looking at it in decimal form, that's looking at it in percent form, and we could even put it right here and look at it in fraction form. All right, number 3. A restaurant has a sign by the front door that says maximum capacity 75 people, and you had to answer each question and explain or show your reasoning. So I made a little note for myself right here. Since it's max capacity 75 people, then I know 100% is the 75. So what percent of the capacity is 9 people? So I'm going to do 9/75ths because my 75 is my whole, and I have 9 people out of those 75. I know to get from 75 to 100, I have to multiply by 1 and, okay, hi guys. Sorry for that pause there. Here we go. I fixed some things. I noticed that I had an error in here, and so I fixed it real fast. All right, and so the percentage of the capacity, that's 9 people. So I had to take 9 out of that whole, or 9/75ths. So I'm going to turn all of those into a percentage. So 75 times 1 1/3 is 100. So then I have to do 9 times 1 1/3, and I get 12. So that's 12%. Let's use a different color here. All right, so then I'm going to do the same thing with 51. Capacity out of the whole of 75, and I multiply 51 times 1 1/3, and I get 68%. And then the last one, the capacity of 84, well, the max capacity is 75, so we know it's over 100%. So I'm still going to do the same thing. 75 times 1 1/3 gives me 100, so 84 times 1 1/3 gives me 112. Then that makes sense based on what I know about the max capacity. All right, number 4. This is actually the last one. There's not 5 in this section. That's just because these are 4 big problems. Number 4, water makes up about 71% of Earth's surface, while the other 29% consists of continents and islands. 96% of all the Earth's water is contained within the oceans as salt water, so salt water goes with that 96%, while the remaining 4% is fresh water, so the 4% goes with fresh water. And that's located in lakes, rivers, glaciers, and the polar ice caps. If the total volume of water on Earth is 1,386 million cubic kilometers, what's the volume of salt water? And what's the volume of fresh water? So I started with the salt water. Excuse me. I'm finding 96% of 1,386 million. And you can see how I wrote million. I wrote it as 1,386 times 10 to the 6th. And I know that's true because 10 to the 6th is a million. It's just a quicker way. This is scientific notation. It's a quicker way to write a million. So I turned my percent into a decimal, 96 hundredths, and I'm going to multiply that by 1,386 million. So do you see the connection between that 6 and the number of zeros I added here? You should see a connection here. And I end up with 1,330 million cubic kilometers. All right. And then lastly, the fresh water is 4%. So I'm doing the exact same thing I just did with the salt water. 4% is 0.04. So please check that. A lot of times kids will write 4% as 0.4, but that of course would be 40% or 4/10 or 40 hundredths. 4% is 0.04 or 4 hundredths, not 40. So check to make sure you did that correctly. So 4 hundredths times that same amount of total cubic kilometers, and we end up with about 55 million cubic kilometers of fresh water. All right. I hope that helps. Thanks for listening, everybody.